We're gonna do it this way, guys. Uh, and we'll get the chat up.
We should be able to see chat in our window, right?
I would think so, yeah. There we go. There we go. So,
Did we see Clover? Team coaching, did we see Clover? I don't know why I have this up.
we don't need to have any microphones or anything. But yeah, what's up, guys? We still, I mean, literally the internet seemed to be working all day, and then all of a sudden, you know, of course, it figures when we try to go live, that's when it does its thing. Hey, it is what it is. Sometimes there's just things that aren't in your control, but we're going to do this anyway. We're just going to do it however we can. So anyways, we were talking about Clover, how Clover continued to go off. It was pretty awesome. Right now, I'm looking at it, and it is still sitting at $8.87. So a little bit of a pullback from when we first went live. But yeah, Fat Man Zoom is, shall I say, happy about that, never to say the least.
Yeah, listen, get over 10. That's all I got to say. Get over 10 and let's roll, baby. So what are your thoughts on Clover? I mean, I think people want to talk about Clover. Do you guys want to talk about Clover?
Yeah.
What's up, Eric? How you doing, brother?
What up, man?
GNOG 10%. Dang.
Is it really?
Is this a short squeeze? Or do we? Is it?
I don't think it's a short. I mean, it could be a short squeeze.
How much volume we got today?
That's pretty decent. I mean, it's an insane amount of volume.
So
I got we're using my phone. I was gonna pull it up on my phone.
does yeah? So I think the question is, if you're in it, what do you do?
Yeah.
Which I think you hang tight.
Yeah. I think if you were to try to sell on the first day of the run up, it might come back to bite you.
And if you're looking to add or looking to get in, would you get in now?
No, I would probably wait to see if there's any kind of pullback. You know, if we've been talking about this for
6 million shares.
we've been talking about this for a while as far as Clover's concerned, you know, getting into the bottom and all that. And you know, if you hadn't gotten in when we were saying it was a good time to get in, then now's not the time to just go start chasing it. And that's something that we see all the time is that, like, you know, once it starts going off, the FOMO kicks in, and, you know, it's not really, usually doesn't end up working out well for those folks that end up trying to chase it. I see, looks like Clover had 34% short interest. That's pretty indicative of a short squeeze, but I think that so short squeezes usually happen when there's not really much of a catalyst going on, and in this case there is something that was able to send it. You compile that with the short interest, then yeah, you do see them start to get squeezed out a little bit. But I'd be surprised if we saw any shorts covering today, to be honest with you.
So 66 million in volume today. 10-day average is 4.26 million. It's insane.
Yeah, that's wild.
Jay Chocolat said, reminded me, wasn't it one of our 52-week low stocks?
It was, yes.
Last week?
Yes, just last week we had it on the channel and talked about how Clover, you were basically not backing down off of Clover. So it's a great one to bring up, great point to bring up that we talked about it.
Yeah, and guys, listen, to me, the work here is not done.
No.
So maybe some profit taking tomorrow, which I'm okay with.
Yeah.
But more importantly, you know, I've always said this is a long-term investment. This has been my sort of biggest drag on my account, but now that it's running, things look good. So I'm happy with this initial movement, but I'm not surprised by the 20% pop in this. It's been beaten down over 50%. I want this thing to clear 10, but long term, I'm looking for $20. Good point here by Paul, which was like, Well, so what happens? SPACs have been beaten down. What does that mean for IPOE, IPOF? Because SPACs have been beaten down, which is weighing on it.
Yeah.
But also IPOE and IPOF, I think, have been hurt by being associated with Chamath
Oh, for sure.
when Clover kind of went down.
Absolutely.
So apparently those are moving too. I'm not aware of where they're at.
Yeah, so let's take a look at IPOF. Right now is sitting, it's up 2%. Oh, no, I'm sorry.
Which they were both in the red, down 3% earlier in the day.
Yeah, and IPOF is now up 4%. So yeah, there's a little bit of an uptick on some of those. One thing that I actually wanted to say, you know, have you said your piece on Clover yet?
Yeah.
So the gaming stocks are going off. I'm noticing too. GNOG is up around 11%, and Penn National is up 4%.
There you go.
Looking up MGM, I'm not sure maybe it's related to something with the New York. I haven't seen any news on any of these just yet. But yeah, MGM's up another 3%. So it looks like some of the gaming stocks are going off.
GN doing it?
DraftKings is actually red on the day, so that's interesting. GAN is red on the day too. So yeah, but it looks like across the board, some of the gaming stocks are actually doing rather well. Not really able to haven't been able to really figure out why, but yeah, that's great for Penn. Penn's obviously been one that we felt as if was kind of a joke, being down here in the low 100s after being at a $142 high. I don't know if maybe numbers came out from March Madness. No, it looks like it might be related to New York. So yeah. So, I mean, and New York is going to be a huge revenue driver, not just for Penn, but for the industry itself. I mean, New York's such a huge state, obviously, and then you have New York City in there. So that's going to bring in tons of revenue, not just for Penn, but for all parties involved.
Yeah, we put it on the watch list actually in the morning.
This morning,
so,
yeah.
So if you guys are part of the Chaos Crew, you've received it. If you're not, go to onlychaos.com and you can get our free watch list. But what we mentioned, obviously New York, by the end of April, Indiana will be opened up. And then by the end of May, we should see New Jersey open up. And so I know some of you have mentioned like March Madness is over. What's there to bet on? Yeah, true. But what's most important is more states opening up. I mean,
Yep.
that's a bigger revenue driver in general.
Yeah.
So that's what's exciting. And as long as those could not get delayed, because if you guys remember, Michigan was delayed for a while, I think almost 6 months. So if those can go off without a hitch, that's going to spell good news for it. So getting Penn, even at this level, below 110 is still silly. And so I think you're going to be sitting pretty come end of May after New Jersey opens and after Indiana's already rocking and rolling. We get those numbers.
There is a legit 30 to 35% upside here on Penn, which is crazy. When you compare it to some of the other gaming stocks that aren't named DraftKings and they're all continuing to go off, Penn's one that's kind of been lagging behind.
Yeah.
All of them, and you know, for really no good reason.
Social media as well, doing well.
Yeah.
You're in Snapchat. Snapchat looks like it's up 4.5%. Twitter's up 3%. Facebook hasn't really done anything, flat on the day, but it's had a great run.
Yeah.
The past few weeks. So those are also doing well.
Yeah, I mean, and the socials, they're all. We've talked about this being a hybrid type of play, so to speak, too. They did well during the pandemic because of the digital presence that they had. They're going to continue to do well because of businesses that are opening up now and need to create that digital presence, basically to let everybody know that they're back open. So all of that one big reason why the FANG is moving as well. And there's just some of the rotation just kind of coming out of some of the cyclicals, coming back into some of the bigger tech players.
Tech is back, baby. Tech is back.
Yeah.
PayPal, Square, all of them. We're all back. Was Clover have another spike, or are you just getting here, Sean? Sean DePuy. Don't get me all fired up for nothing. Yeah, it's a good day. We needed this day, people.
Yeah.
We've been beaten up a little bit.
Yep. Yeah, Clover's just still hanging out. So still up over 20% at $8.85. And the market is officially closed, folks. So the indexes right now, it looks as if, all record highs here. The S&P 500 closed at a record high. Dow Jones I'm not sure we're at either at or near the record high, and Nasdaq also making its way up too. So yeah, I mean this is going to continue to roll. I'm still hella bullish. I talked about this in January about how we weren't going to be seeing a stock market crash, and people said I was crazy because it had run up so much then. And I still remain bullish on the year. I don't think we see a crash at all in 2021. Probably not for 2022 either, unless something crazy happens. Obviously, there are some unforeseen things like pandemics, right? But fundamentally, with the economy continuing to absolutely be on fire, there's no reason to believe that anybody should be afraid of any kind of crash. Sure, there could be some inflation in there, but I don't think it's going to be anything that's going to cause any crazy issues. More or less would be tertiary, as the Fed's kind of said. Why do I always keep saying tertiary? Transient, as the Fed had said. And so, yeah, I don't think it's going to be anything that's going to impact the markets significantly. We might see some corrections here and there like we've seen already this year, but it won't be anything like we saw last year or even in like a 2008 type of situation where actual crashes occurred.
Yeah, for sure. And I think somebody asked about Affirm, which is down about 2.5% today. Honestly, I think that these are going to be opportunity plays. You look at the firms, the big C's, even stuff like Fisker, and I think the conversation is going to move back to SPAC. I think this is going to happen in the coming weeks, months, where the conversation is going to shift. And I know Haiti asked a question about, how do I get this? Is that the chat? Or how do I get the live chat show? Okay. Haiti asked a question about, I think 70% of the portfolio was in tech and 30% reopening. Should you get in more reopening? I'm going to be honest with you. Where, like, you're regular on our channel, we've been talking about getting into reopening.
Yeah.
So I don't know, like, if you should. Right? Like, we've said this.
Yeah, we have.
Haiti, what's going on? What's your problem? But I mean, you're probably fine. You just got to be really good with your supports and resistance at this point in time. And like Brad mentioned on the last live stream before we were so rudely interrupted, is, you know, it's not going to be like last year where you just throw a dart and anything you hit's going to go up.
Right.
You actually got to be on point with your due diligence. So there are always going to be opportunities. It's finding those opportunities. And I think it was a good lesson learned at the beginning of this year when we saw things transition out and we're, you know, not chasing things.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's it.
I was going to transition to something, but I kind of lost my spot.
You could talk about
I'm just looking at some of the other stuff that's been moving. Obviously, we talked about socials, but I don't want anybody to think that they should just dump all of their reopening plays and get back into tech. We've talked a lot about just rebalancing and making sure you had a little bit of everything, and because there's going to be this crazy shift, right? You know, I've talked about how I've been rebalancing my own account, and I just look at some of the stuff that's kind of fallen today. My Simon Property Group fell today. My GrafTech stock fell today. I actually ended up adding to GrafTech this morning as well on the pullback. Spirit Air System also fell back. So those are some of the reopening plays that fell, but then obviously tech ran today. So overall, the account actually went up, but because I was diversified and having this kind of barbell approach, I wasn't burned completely by one side or the other. And this is kind of what we've been talking about, is being diligent and just kind of making sure that you have that balance and not making sure that you don't have too much of one thing or one type of stock, and so we don't get and so we don't fall into that same trap that we fell into earlier this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you want to check out Levi? Somebody asked about Clover. What was the news? Luis, what was the news on Clover? So Clover, the CMX actually came out that Clover had won a contract for Medicare in 10 states. And actually, I don't know how much it matters, but the 10 states are Arizona, Georgia, Kansas, New Jersey, New York, PA, Rhode Island, South Carolina, Texas, and Vermont. So there's a pretty big news. And that actually happened towards the end of the day. That's why we saw that crazy run, because Clover was actually red for the first half of the day.
Yeah.
Beat down.
Absolutely. Yeah, I see that PW Coaching says that I feel like these retail plays are at all-time highs. They are testing all-time highs, but when we talk about this, they did sort of well during the pandemic because of the e-commerce side, but there are going to be people going back to actual physical brick and mortar shops as well to be able to buy stuff. There's going to be a lot of spending going on over the summer, and we've seen this already with Lululemon, who had earnings last week or the week before, and things aren't slowing down for them. Their outlook was absolutely fantastic. Levi Strauss actually has earnings today, and I was telling Fat Man Zoom before we went live that I'm curious to see what their outlook is going to be as well. So no official numbers on them just yet, but I think my hunch is that if Levi comes out and says, we think that we're firing on all cylinders, retail is back, baby, like that, then it's not going to stop. There's going to be a lot of surprise earnings this time around, and there's not one part of me that would want to leave like my Under Armour position, for example. I'm going to continue to remain into that, and I think that you look at the weekly chart on Under Armour, it's about ready to be in breakout mode if we get up over $20 a share.
Yeah, Levi did have a great earnings. Oh wait, they missed. Was it the one before that they crushed it? I thought oh no, it was 2 earnings ago. They crushed it by 130%. Last earnings, they still had a great move up. They had a slight miss of 10%. So this earnings estimates, it looks like, are 24 cents a share. I'm not even trying to get the numbers.
Yeah. So what it looks like, the initial reaction here is that maybe they just came out, not quite seeing any kind of crazy volume just yet on it. But this was one that I was just kind of monitoring because I did want to kind of get a gauge of like what the rest of the retail market discretionary stocks were going to do. Because I still feel very bullish despite where they're at. So looking at Levi, and it looks as if it's still up 1%. Nothing too crazy is happening just yet, but we'll let you know if we start to see some real action on this thing. By the way, shout out to you guys. There's 156 of you all hanging in here after our our tech issues, and we just appreciate you guys just being our diehard fans. It's pretty awesome for you to stick with us.
Hit that like, baby.
Yeah, give us a thumbs up. We certainly would appreciate it.
Airbnb, what did Airbnb? I think Airbnb was red today, right?
Airbnb, no, it was green.
It was?
Yeah, but it wasn't like crazy green. Yeah, it actually closed flat on the day.
Okay.
Oh no, I'm sorry. Hold on. It's flat right now. Let me see what it closed at yesterday. Yeah, so it pretty much closed flat on the day. Yeah, barely green. Yeah. But Airbnb is going to be something that it'll eventually catch up with the rest of the market as far as that's concerned. We talked about this, the demand for vacations and especially the domestic travel side of things. Not worried about Airbnb. And honestly, we can give a little sneak preview, but this could be something that we think ends up getting into the S&P 500 at some point. We're going to probably create a video surrounded around that. Stocks we think that are going to make the cut next time around. Airbnb could definitely be something that ends up doing that.
Ooh, I like Tiger Zed's question.
What was it?
Snapchat or Twitter to $100 first?
Ooh, shit. Probably Twitter, even though I really like Snapchat, and I've said that Snapchat. We've both said that we could see Snapchat getting to $100 a share.
Yeah.
Probably for the better part of 6 months now. We could see that happening. Here's my thing about Snapchat. I like the fact that Snapchat is still the #1 platform for anyone 18 to 24. It's the #1 platform. The second one is TikTok, and it's a pretty wide margin still. So I still like Snapchat for that reason. Snapchat's making some really great moves from the marketing side of things and the shop side of things. So we just saw a recent partnership that they had created in regards to that. So I think that Snapchat's still going to do really well. But which one's going to hit first, Fat Man Zoom? I feel like it's still got to be Twitter. Only because they got a lot of things going on. They've been trying like hell to acquire Clubhouse. You said, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, I think that's going to be very interesting. But I would venture to say that Twitter probably does it first. But I could see them both hitting it pretty soon.
Yeah.
Levi's up 7.5% after hours.
That's wild.
Let's see here. Somebody, where's Arfin when you need him? Somebody throw us the numbers. Square went off. Yeah, Square went off today. And we've talked about that being and I know that I'm probably going to get some flack because I sold my Square position. But again, it was
Looks like
oh, there he is.
dividend. Levi's hiking their dividend.
Oh, nice. Levi
Yeah.
says they beat 34 cents to 25-cent estimate. So thanks, Arfin, for that.
By 50%, they're hiking their
They
dividend.
beat the revenues by 600 million, it looks like. So that's, or, no, I'm sorry, 400 million. So that's pretty crazy.
How do I pull it up?
It was just up. Pretty wild stuff. Yeah, 600 million, just about. So 600 million beat. That's insane. I would imagine their outlook is pretty good. It is now up 10% after hours. Levi Strauss,
600 million or is it 60 million?
60 million.
Okay.
60
I think
million.
it is 60 million.
Too many zeros I gotta deal with.
Beat it. Beat it.
Either way, they crushed it.
Arvin says they raised guidance. I can definitely see that Snap is monetizing their stuff more. There's not a possibility to skip ads and they're more frequent.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to poke you in the eye.
I wonder if I can pull the chat up here. I probably could do it here. Of course, the internet's working, but why would we want to chance it at this point, right? It's been very spotty. It's weird. Oh yeah, look, there I am. So we can see the chat down here. So I'll get rid of this. There we go. So looking at, let's see here. Looking at the chart on Levi, it is still up significantly, 8.7%. Unbelievable, guys. Pretty crazy stuff here. Pretty crazy stuff. I'm gonna bring this down here. There you go. Was almost ruining the app for a few months. Yeah, so that is the thing, when we're talking about Snapchat and ads that are not skippable, it's tough, but when you're using something that's free, they have to pay for it somehow. So I understand that it can be frustrating, but at the same time, they got to do what they got to do.
Yeah. I'm good.
Yeah, I think I'm good too.
We got a video tomorrow, guys. Make sure you like and subscribe, hit the notification bell. We have a video every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So we got one tomorrow, and we're doing a little bit different. So
Yeah.
we got a meme stock that we think is going to be hot,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
we break it down. So make sure you watch that. We'll be in the chat tomorrow for that. And as always, we have Stock Watch Sunday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. We'll be live for that. We got that covered.
We will be live. Yeah, we're gonna just do a little bit of improv. Probably won't be here. So just make sure you're tuning in. There won't be any internet snafus there. So thanks guys so much for tuning in. Hit that thumbs up, all right, on your way out. And that's gonna do it for us. Thanks guys. Appreciate you.
Bye.
I see that.